Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda Podcast for Monday the 21st of October.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
And the brand new studio has taken about 3 weeks to become absolutely ruined here. There are stains all over the bloody table.
Yeah, coffee mug stains.
I don't know what these are.
I had to call out James McConey because he leaves cups of tea everywhere.
Oh my God.
And before you have to, wait, take your cup with you. Fucking lazy bastard.
He's like Lee Hart with half-drunk beers.
Oh, and Matt Heath with half-drunk beers. He's the worst. 2 sips, gone.
But there's some sort of chocolate stains on the desk here. And we can't figure out who it is because we were the last ones in here to do the podcast. No commentary over the week, which we are going to talk about later on in the podcast. But I know the Big Show come in here every now and then and do a bit of recording.
Oh, they don't pre-record this show, do they?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the show, but they're definitely in here recording something.
Oh, they do their potty? They do what?
Yeah.
Their outro?
They do something, and I reckon they fucking... Jason Hoyt's got bloody chocolate stains.
Yeah, that's written all over it. A little bit of controversy this morning. I've filled in on Hauraki breakfast, and we found some wedges for shoes.
Yes.
On Pugsley's desk.
Yeah.
Which, you don't know what wedges are. It's to give you a bit of a lift.
Yeah.
If you're struggling vertically.
Yeah.
And there's all silicone lifts that you can put. And I put them in my shoes, and admittedly, it does give you a bit of a lift.
Did it work?
But deep shame.
You can't get around like that all day.
Nah, deep shame, though, knowing that I got them in. And so we started talking about what's more shameful, wedges or a rinse, a bad rinse.
Ooh, wedges. Because you're hiding it.
Well,
The rinse you can't hide. I know you think you're hiding it. And by the way, there'll be someone listening to this podcast right now being like, "Oi, fuck off." I just want you to know.
We know.
I don't know you exist. So the fact that you're taking offence to this means you're aware of it.
We did talk about the rinse. And we said, if you think you're getting away with your rinse, you're not.
Yeah.
People are talking about you behind your back. So
whatever your thing is, by the way, it could be a rinse, it could be something else.
A rug.
Whatever it is.
A rug, a plug.
We all know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I for the longest time thought that my superpower was being able to spot a rinse from a mile away.
Yeah.
It's everyone's superpower. It's actually not that hard to spot. I was generally like, if it's a white guy with darker hair than me,
yes,
and he's late into his 50s, suspicious.
Well, it's also the eyebrows and the facial hair.
The facial hair gives
it away.
Yeah.
Massively gives it away.
Big
so
time.
you got to just lean into it. And what else we talked about? A few other things. And Jeremy Wells shocked us with a story about he is doing some terrible work in the TVNZ changing rooms.
Really?
He revealed another insight. One of a former TVNZ employee would wear male Spanx, but almost like a full-length Spanx up to his chest and tummy. And
like a little rolled roast sort of situation.
Yeah, and so we were like, who is it? He wouldn't tell us, and we were saying names. We were like, it's not Sloppy Sav, is it? And he's like, no. And then we worked out it was a former employee, and eventually got it out of Kamal Santa Maria.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's running a full men's Spanx operation under his suit.
Right. And a sexual assault lawsuit as well.
Yeah, I think he's contesting that whole scenario.
Oh, they often do.
Yeah.
They should have sacked him for that before he ever got the chance to do anything pesty, to be fair.
That's true. That is true. So, yeah, we talked about deep, shameful things that mainly men get up to because I think as we mentioned, there's a different criteria for women because they put makeup on in the morning and a lot of them dye their hair anyway. But they are out there. They're open about it, whereas guys are in the background dyeing their hair surreptitiously and putting lifts in their shoes. Getting veneers. Veneers is another one.
Yeah.
Have you come across someone you hadn't seen for a while and they've got veneers?
No.
It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
I've never seen it. But
it'll happen at some stage in your life. One of your mates will go off and get veneers and you'll see them and you will immediately start laughing and it's not really the reaction they're looking for.
I know someone who I've seen dudes, like English dudes, particularly when I was in Dubai. There's a lot of the English dudes, and they'll have the whitest teeth that you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. Perfectly straight. They don't look like teeth. It's like you've got a mouth guard in or something like that. I also know a guy who, I'm not going to say his name because he's told me off for mentioning him in the past, but he showed up to where he worked. They had like a site changeover. I'm sure I've told the story before. It's about 50 dudes sitting in a room and they're changing over from the night shift before work. And the guy's up the front, and he goes, yep, if you go down the back, you'll notice that area is blocked off. There's something wrong, something faulty. Don't go down there. And then if you look up you fucking dyed your hair, mate. And this guy's sitting at the front going, no, I haven't. But he'd been using that shampoo that darkens your hair.
Yeah, Ruda uses it.
Oh,
he used to use it until he had exactly the same scenario. Ruda, the producer of the Breakfast Show, he said a few years ago when he started finding a bit of greys, he started using the shampoo until he bumped into a friend who just went, why are you dyeing your hair? And he didn't do it from then on.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you can't. Well, why not just embrace the greys?
Yeah.
I think most dudes with black hair know that you go grey very early. I got a lot of greys. And so it can't you've either got to commit to dyeing it all the time, but the dye doesn't look black, it looks blue.
Yeah, and especially I've seen a few kind of mousy brown dye jobs. They look even worse.
Tough.
That is tough, Rinse.
That is tough because then there's the regrowth.
Yeah.
Because this is the other thing is dudes. So when women do this, they commit. It's a whole thing, you know. They look after their hair quite thoroughly. A dude will just run the rinse through and then leave it for like another 6 months. You can't do that. Now you got regrowth. You get the bloody half and half. Look at that fucking Billie Eilish as a 50-year-old man.
All you have to say is everyone knows.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone knows.
We all know.
We all know. We might not say it to your face, but we're saying it behind your back.
I do appreciate the kind of man who will openly address it, though, as well. Who'll just be like, yeah, just ran the dye through my hair last night.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't mind that. It's just the ones that are hiding it.
Yeah. The most open man about dyeing his hair that I've met. He's probably not open about it on air, but I'm going to say it anyway, Stephen McIver. He'd come in after he'd dyed his hair and she'd be like, yeah, I dyed it last night, used a different one, it's not quite the same. And I was like, I got to respect that. I got to respect that. If you're showing up, you're addressing the fact that you've dyed your hair.
Stephen McIver.
God bless you.
Speaking of which, he'll be tearing Barcelona a new one, wouldn't he?
See. Yeah.
See.
He'll be. I reckon he definitely would have tried to find Ben Ainsley to like shake hands and make amends. I don't think Ben Ainsley would have been up for it.
Nah.
Well, should we start with the America's Cup then? If we're actually going to talk about some sport, the America's Cup remains New Zealand's cup. Third time in a row, third consecutive title defence.
I kind of knew this, but I didn't. Only 4 countries have ever won the America's Cup.
Isn't it the oldest prize in sporting history?
So Australia, New Zealand, England, America.
Right.
That's it.
Now, did America win it first? Yeah, so I don't know. What. It's such a bizarre... I can't... So I guess my first question is, you've been saying, well, it's been going on. Does anyone care? Because we know it's not coming back. Now that we've won it, do you care?
No.
No, neither. I've tried.
And they're cock-teasing us as well. Of course, the questions are, is it coming back? Are you going to race in New Zealand? And Dalton's come with we'll never say never. You know, the door's always open. It's like, bullshit.
Sailing is just a long series of lawsuits, and then every now and then a race breaks out.
Yeah, it's all going to do with money. We don't have the money.
Nah.
We don't want to spend the money.
No. But that should be part of it. It should be built into the things. Like, yes, we don't have the money. Yeah, it's going to be kind of lamer than if you were in Barcelona. But if you want it somewhere else, then beat us and come and take it. Otherwise, we're going to be fizzing around Lake Taupo next year.
That'd be mean.
And fuck all wind.
Or Lake Wakatipu. That'd be cool.
That would be sick.
Yeah, up and down in front of Queenstown.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You have to chopper them in on some sort of kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, or train them in.
They're big units. Maybe they just have to build them all in Queenstown. Queenstown's now become a city. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It's tipped over 30,000.
Is that
which goes from a town? Yeah, I found this out this morning. Look, if you listen to the Hodaki Breakfast, you learn a lot.
You learn a lot.
It tips you over to what is known as a city.
Do you need a cathedral? Because that was my understanding.
I think that might be in England.
Okay. My understanding was there was a population quota, and then you also needed a cathedral.
I haven't seen many cathedrals in Queenie.
No cathedral in Queenstown. Okay, so 30,000, which is what makes Timaru a city.
Is Timaru got 30?
Timaru's about 40, almost 50, yeah.
So it's a city too?
It's a city. Oamaru, not. Suck it. Same with Ashburton. That also sucks and doesn't have a cathedral.
Really? Ashburton? But didn't Ashburton's population explode after the quake? Did they tip over? Are they a city?
I don't think it did.
Speaking of which, are we going to touch on that part of the world, Mid-Canterbury?
Yes.
Stumbled at the last hurdle. The Swampies took them out.
They did. The Swamp Foxes took them out in the Heartland Championship final, and to that, I've got to say, fuck Mid-Canterbury. And actually, that was the only leg of our three-way that hit as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was a spike bet against Mid-Canterbury, and it came in. Only by half a point. But yeah, I don't know. America's Cup, do we just draw a line under it and say, I don't care anymore?
Yeah. No, because now all that's going to happen is...
lawsuits.
They'll cock-tease the fact it can come back to New Zealand, but New Zealand will have to raise $500 million to do it. And we'll go, nah.
Yeah. Why would we?
Yeah.
What? I don't know. I've never understood sports who are like, yeah, but you guys have got to help us fundraise to do it. It's like, no, if enough people gave a shit about your sport, you wouldn't have to fundraise. The tickets would pay for it.
Sail GP is going to be a good time, though. That is here at the end of January in Auckland. And the track for that, the course, the course for it, the course for it is pretty sick. It's between the harbour bridge and the ferry terminal. So it's a tiny stretch of water. It's not very wide.
So you'll be able to see it from land.
Yeah,
pretty easily,
yeah. So from the tank farm and from Bayswater, Stanley Point, all across there, you'll be able to watch it. But that's a tight course, man. Real tight course.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting. That's going to be obviously the Black Foils, and that is Pete Burling and Blair Tuke again.
Yeah.
So they got a good thing going, aren't they? Flopping between America's Cup and Sail GP.
Yeah, that's right.
Good time.
It does seem like a good time. Yeah. I haven't watched any of it. All right, just before we do take a quick break, Liam Lawson, we were just watching him out in the office. He finished in the Formula One and finished, 9th?
Yeah, he started, I thought he'd started, he qualified 15th, but he had to take a grid penalty because Daniel Ricciardo left a turd on the seat and when he left.
Daniel Ricciardo,
and he was 19th on the grid and he finished 9th. He got in the points. I think that's the biggest. That would have been the biggest goal. What's the best case scenario in this first race? Get some points.
Win the whole thing. Oh, yeah, no, right.
Not win the whole thing.
Not win
There's no way. There was miles behind the Ferraris.
But this is probably a bigger issue with motor games in general. Shouldn't anyone be able to win any race?
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
Nah.
Maybe I just don't get it.
Although, between the McLarens, Ferraris, and Red Bull, all those can win races. All those teams can win races. But the rest of them, something drastic has to happen in the race for them to win.
It's another rich guy sport. It's like there are rules that prevent it being an equal opportunity for everyone, and it's just whoever's got the most money, then we'll figure out who's going to win out of those dudes.
All the smartest engineers.
Yeah, who command the highest paychecks, I guess. All right, Liam Lawson, he's won some points.
Yes, he has. First race in a full-time seat.
I was saying out in the office, now what's going to happen is, this is what we do as New Zealanders, if he doesn't go on to become the greatest race car driver of all time, we're going to say he's a failure now because he's had early success. And then we turn around and go, geez, he really shit the bed ever since then, didn't he?
Great start for him, though. He beat his teammate, Sonoda, so that's always good.
All right.
And I think he may have even just come behind Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull, who he's rumoured to take his seat full-time next year and race alongside Verstappen.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So they're teammates essentially just in the fact that they race for the same team, but they don't work together?
No, so you got Red Bull Racing, which is the premier team with Verstappen and Perez, and then you've got what's it called? It's kind of other way, Racing Bulls, which is the feeder team, still owned by Red Bull.
Right.
It's the kind of feeder team into the main team.
But those two cars don't work together that are in...
No.
Okay.
No. They're different cars, different engineering teams, different pit teams, everything. But it's just owned by the same parent company. Yep.
I was wondering why he would take his mate out. Anyway, okay, so he scored some points.
Oh, yeah, he started a fight too, which was good with Fernando Alonso. So Fernando Alonso is like the boomer of the grid, the oldest dude there, and he's just grumpy as.
Yeah.
And he has accused Liam Lawson of driving dangerously when they were racing for 14th and 15th in the sprint race. And he said afterwards, I'll get him back. And he did. He pulled in front of him during his flying lap.
Who?
Slowed him down. Fernando Alonso pulled in front of
Liam Lawson.
And Liam Lawson's like, yeah, I don't know, get over it.
It's racing.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Yeah. I don't think
that's the whole point of it.
I don't think you're a Formula One driver till you have Fernando Alonso yell at you in the pits. A grumpy old man.
Massive weekend of sport. There's still so much to get through. Let's take a quick break. We haven't even touched on the cricket, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and talk cricket. I want to start with the White Ferns, who claimed their maiden T20 World Cup title with a 32-run victory over South Africa in Dubai this morning. Of course, they came into the tournament on a 10-0 slide.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, and I likened it a little bit to Stephen Bradbury last week, where all of the other ice skaters had fallen over, and all of a sudden we were coming through. It wasn't quite like that, But it was all of the teams that had tipped us up.
Yes.
Were all of a sudden gone.
Yeah.
And it changed the complexion of the whole competition. And so overnight, last night at about 2, 3 in the morning.
Yep. Wrapped up at 6:30.
Wrapped up at 6:30 this morning. We won the bloody World Cup.
Yeah, world champions.
World fucking champions.
World champions, and convincingly too.
Yeah.
Convincing over South Africa. I mean, they were paying 21s before the tournament, and someone who was this morning said they got on them at 21s pre-tournament, and they got on them at 8s before the knockouts.
Yeah, right.
And had a great weekend. So
I think we on the ACC got on them at about 8s as well.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, there was something in there that filled the kitty up.
Yeah.
So
no, that was top scoring. Ravindra top scoring the first innings.
Oh yeah,
we got that one as well.
That one too.
But yeah, great. Hopefully they're partying their asses off over there in Dubai. Get out to the Palm Atlantis, get on the rooftop bar, and tear Dubai a new one.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come home with a. No one saw this coming.
No
one saw this coming, and so good on them. They've proved all the doubters, us included, when they came into this World Cup with, like you were saying, a 10-run shitter.
10-0 slide.
Yeah.
Then they won 3 games in the pool matches and then haven't dropped on since.
Yep.
So powerful stuff from them. And then also over the weekend, the Black Caps beat India in India. I think is it the 3rd time ever?
Yes. First time about 30-odd years.
Yeah.
Last one was in that kind of 80s.
So 3rd time we've ever beaten them in India?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I must admit I was nervous. I was scratching around when India got a 110-run lead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. But didn't need to worry.
No.
Did not need to worry between Will Young and Ravindra. They came home, won by 8 wickets. And I must admit, looking at that Indian team, potentially the most out-of-shape international sports team on the planet. Like,
really?
I'm not saying I'm Kate Moss, but like, just have some self-respect. I don't know. And they played that game so recklessly in that first innings. And even in the second innings, there were some moments where I was like, what's going on here? So I'd be interested to see how they approach the second test, the Indians, because if they get tipped up again or don't perform, the questions are going to be asked around their attitude.
Well, they'll be burning effigies in the street.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, lose 2 at home.
The next pitch is going to be turning square.
Oh, 100%.
So that's going to be mildly terrifying.
And
but
whoever prepared that last pitch will go missing.
Correct. Yeah.
And their family.
Yeah. Well, I don't think all the rain didn't help because it just kept the juice in the wicket.
Yeah.
But a great performance from Ravindra. Great batting performance from Tim Southee out of nowhere. Brought us home as well. So, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was a powerful weekend of sport. I just want to bring this to your attention. At 6:41 p.m. last night, someone brought a Black Cap supporters support group T-shirt. Now, at that point, we would have been less than 50 runs required to win.
I don't blame this person. I was going through the same emotions because when Latham got sawn off for a duck and we were 1 down without scoring a run, I was like, oh shit.
Any match where there's a team out for less than 100 in one of the innings, it's always hovering over the rest of it, even though we both scored 400 in the next 2 innings.
And look, if this purchase of this Black Cap supporter support group T-shirt helped get them over the line in terms of managing their nerves and emotions, then it's job done for us.
Yeah.
And I think to celebrate, it's got a note from Joe Jury, who's in charge of the ACC shop. He has got half-price Steady the Ship hats.
Oh.
Until they run out in celebration of this cricketing weekend. So half-price Steady the Ship hats. Just use the code word Kiwi on checkout, and you will get 50% off Steady the Ship hats until we run out. So get onto that if you want to get your hats for the summer.
I was wondering what he was doing with all those hats. And the football. We went to the football over the weekend, Auckland FC on Saturday night. It was actually at about 5 o'clock, so the sun was up for that. I sat down in the south stand with all of the port was sort of just in front of me there. They were going bloody hard. It was a great experience. Like, it was interesting to me that the team hadn't existed until that game. And a lot of people on social media calling us bandwagon fans for being it. It was the first ever game. Everyone's a fucking bandwagon fan.
I think they meant bandwagon to the game of football, potentially, maybe?
And to those people, I would say, I'm not a fan of the game of football. I don't enjoy the sport at all. But I just want to see what it's all about. And this is why, again, I've been saying this the whole time about soccer. They're the worst fans. They're the worst of us for this exact reason. we're not fans of soccer. We went along to a soccer game to try and get involved, and people are like, no, fucking bandwagon fans. All right, well, now I'll never come again.
I want to be a fan.
So do I. And God, they were going hard. There's that crew with all the flags and that.
Yeah, the port.
And before the game, they were standing in the concourse just next to Fritz's Wieners there and jumping up and down and singing and shouting. They had all their chants. Where they practiced those, I don't know. Like, did they put a hymn sheet up online or something?
They all met at Tyler Street Sports Bar in town, I think.
Right.
But I think they've got a little Facebook community group that they share stuff on.
They
It's
do
good
choir
though.
practice.
They bought something.
Fuck yeah.
But a bit of controversy coming out of the back of it though, because they had a traditional Māori welcome.
Yes.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
But no one told the players how to react to it. And you know, remember the players came out and they faced the stand and they had their backs to the welcome. Well, apparently it's caused a bit of a stir. And all the
so, fucking hell.
I know. So,
I was the only Māori in the stands. What do you mean? What's the controversy?
You were actually. You got a couple of fuck South Canterbury's, which was good. You know,
yeah.
A couple of sprays from guys walking past, which I personally enjoyed.
Everywhere I go. And I was with my missus. She's like, do you know those dudes? I was like, no. And they just yell, fuck South Canterbury. It's a long story. More people in the comments being like, what's all that, like tagging me? Like, what's going on? Why have you turned on South Canterbury? It's like, I haven't. I've somehow become the face of a franchise that didn't lose for 5 years. And so, yeah, people just screaming at me. But it was good. I thought couple of work-ons if I could for Auckland FC's next game.
Mm-hmm.
They tried this horn thing.
Oh, my God, that was so bad.
Didn't work. Poor Finn Caddy, Mash from the Hauraki Breakfast Show. He was the ground announcer.
Yeah.
And he had to go over and blow the horn that was going to call the guys into the pitch. And when he blew it, it just didn't work. And it was a bit of a...
Well, what it was a traditional aerosol air horn that he was putting into another larger horn.
It was just never going to work.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a work on. They got Sydney FC this weekend back at Go Hard,
right.
So that's definitely a work on.
And then the other thing I was going to say is when our there was a bit of a haka and a karanga calling everyone into the stadium. When that was going on and the guys were chanting in the stands at the same time, and then the players were out on the pitch as well, it was like goosebumps. It was fucking awesome. Bin the foghorn thing and just have those guys calling the port into the stand.
Yeah.
So have them doing the karanga out on the field. Then you got these guys coming over the hill, they're chanting.
Yeah.
Then the players come out of the tunnel.
Yeah, go at all angles.
Yeah, that would be sick. And another couple of points of feedback. I know that painting your face is a big part of football culture and football fandom. Unfortunately, half of the Auckland FC colours is black. The blue and black.
Yeah.
There was, for my liking, too much blackface.
Well, the blue was too dark. The blue was too dark.
The blue was fine, and then they turned to the side. You're like, oh shit. And I reckon I would have saw probably almost double digits blackface. At Auckland FC's first game, so that was...
Oh, look, these are all very sensible work-ons for this weekend. I went up into the port and I sculled about 3 beers. I got yelled, you know the rules, and a beer chucked in my hand.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was a good introduction. And I also got in a bit of trouble for what looked like me buying pals for underage kids.
Yeah, that did look a lot like you buying pals.
Yeah.
How would you describe what happened?
Look, it was just for theatre. I took that pals off those kids immediately after we filmed it. Yeah. So no 10-year-olds drunk pals. Okay? Just throwing it out there.
Great. And it would have never happened if it was Export Ultra as well.
Yeah, correct.
Final piece of feedback. Flares, great. Powerful. There were about 3 or 4 flares.
I don't think they're flares though. They're like smoke bombs.
Yeah, isn't that a flare?
Nah, it's not a... The proper flares are the ones that burn at like 1,000 degrees. You know.
Yeah.
They were quite clever actually because they were very small. Yeah. They were quite effective. They were just like little
very effective
smoke bombs.
The first issue with it, the security guards had no idea how to deal with them because one rolled down in front of a security guard. He looked at it. He's like, does that explode? Is that a firework? What the fuck is it?
That's right. I saw that.
You know how they've got the buckets overseas to chuck the flares in? They don't have any of that, so they didn't really know what to do with it. Second thing is, as soon as one popped off, Lauren, who works out in the office with us, she goes, "It's a boy!" And then I realised a blue flare. It looks like a gender reveal. I think we need to lean into that and just go full gender reveal every week. and have signs, it's a boy. But when we let the flare go, Auckland FC, it's a boy. I reckon that'll be the go. I never did get into the corporate box. I was going to let off the first ever corporate flare.
Yeah.
But I didn't see one there, so it's still on. It's still on, the world's first ever corporate flare.
Yeah, and look, and not to be outshone, the Phoenix, they scrambled a draw in their opening match as well down there in Wellington, 1-1.
Yeah.
We're copping a little bit of heat from Phoenix fans. But hey, look, this is a shiny new thing that we want to play with.
That's right.
Up in Auckland, let us play with it for a little bit, and bring on the derby in 2 weeks' time.
Also, we can be bought.
Yes,
like 100%. We're not above selling out.
Correct.
And so reach out, Wellington, Phoenix. We've been paid nothing from Auckland FC, so $20.
I didn't get a shirt, did I? Did you buy any merch? Did you buy any merch?
No, the merch queues were massive. The merch is quite cool, to be fair.
They had done so well to get that much merch out before this game.
Yeah, everyone was kitted up.
Yeah.
People had flags and shit. Anyway, yes, we can 100% be bought by any football franchise anywhere. But yeah, Auckland FC, they had a flyover.
I saw that. Was that at halftime?
No, that was before the game.
I missed that.
And the last thing was I was sitting up in the south stand. There were these punishing kids who were running around all jacked up on candy floss and whatnot. And they were desperately trying to start a Mexican wave.
Oh.
But the problem they dealt with was the port splits the south stand straight up the middle.
Yeah.
And they're all in their own world, those port dudes.
Yeah, they stand the whole time.
Singing, chanting, waving their flags. It's a barrier for the Mexican wall. A Mexican wave cannot get through the port because they're not looking.
They're like Donald Trump.
Yeah, they are.
They've built the wall to stop the Mexicans.
They have, and it's super effective. None of them are getting through.
Maybe that's what they should do in America.
They need the port over there.
They just need a full line of football fans.
Yeah.
Singing and chanting.
I reckon it'd work. But thoroughly enjoyed it. And the other thing is, it's going to be going throughout summer. So Mount Smart Stadium in the summer is just going to be delightful in the beautiful summer sunshine out there. All right, let's take one more quick break. And when we come back, yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
First caller here actually sent, well, they ran out of time, so they've sent two back-to-back. Okay. So I reckon we'll play them back-to-back. So caller, yours, please.
Hey, fellas. In a message about a month ago, I talked about the great divorce of New Zealand football. And unfortunately, you guys picked Auckland FC. And you haven't just picked them, you've got into bed with them. You've taken Ali Williams' coke money, and you're up in the box. Yeah. Disgrace. Anyway, I just want to know, are there any ACC members that are Phoenix fans? Do we at least get Lee Baker? And will you show face at the Cake Tin on November 2nd? Because we will be there. We're pissed off. And another thing, in a divorce, who gets hurt? It's the children. And who are the children in this scenario? It's, of course, the mainland meathead rugby wounders. And they don't want to hear this fucking soccer football chat. They're fucking pissed off. They don't give a fuck. They're fucking on their tractors. They don't want to hear it. And I would just like to extend an olive branch to the mainland meathead rugby wounders. You Phoenix fans, unless you're from South Canterbury, you can get fucked. Fuck Auckland FC.
Yep, good stuff. Firstly, didn't accept any money from Ali Williams.
No.
Weren't in a box.
Also, didn't turn down any money. We would happily accept money.
Absolutely.
Just weren't offered.
Look, I mean, we are in bed. We had a good time. We shagged the crap out of each other on Saturday.
Yeah,
and I'll go back again on Saturday.
Yeah.
So unless the Phoenix can offer up something a bit funkier in the bedroom,
yeah,
I'm sticking with Auckland FC.
That's right. Now, the Phoenix do take their shirts off at least, whereas Auckland FC don't. Although
I did see a few of them do it.
Oh, really?
I saw in that second goal, some few of them took their tops off, and I don't think that was more of a finger to Phoenix fans.
Yes, yeah.
To wind them up. And as you can tell by that message, it's fucking worked.
It's worked. It's worked. It's an organic rivalry. Straight off the bat as well, which is great.
Ali Williams said something interesting the other day. I said, what's going to happen with the derby? Is it Auckland v New Zealand? Auckland v Wellington? He goes, mate, it's New Zealand versus Wellington. It's like they suck all our money dry down there. They're taking all our taxes. They just spend it on lattes and craft beer. The whole country needs to get behind us when we go down there. And I was like, okay, good luck with that.
I feel like that's the perception of Auckland to the rest of the country. I don't think that's how people think of Wellington.
I don't think we need the rest of the country in Auckland. They don't need it. So that'll be interesting. 2 weeks' time, that derby down in Welly. That's going to be a cracker.
Lee Baker must be a soccer fan, right?
Oh, yeah, to answer that question, pull forward. Paul Ford's a diehard Phoenix fan. He lives in Wellington. He goes to all the games. Lee Baker, maybe. He looks like he kind of strikes me as the kind of guy who'd be a football, but he is a true blue Aucklander. There's nothing more. He drives a Tesla. That's a good point. He owns a house in Auckland, but he now lives in Christchurch. He's not going to be a Knicks fan. Okay. But you got Paul Ford. There you go. Yeah.
Paul Ford's your man. All right. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Okay, lads. Hey, great to see you at the Auckland FC game on Saturday. Good work by you fellas. Just rewatched the replay this Sunday morning. That game had everything, except for one thing. It was missing that one thing. Manaia, you promised a flair. There was no fucking flair, mate. Don't make false promises and get my hopes up like that. No wonder it's fuck South Canterbury.
Hard to get your hands on a flare. And what I thought was a flare turns out it's not. It's just a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
Someone needs to...
The only place you can get flares is from marine stores.
Yeah, I was going to say, where would you get a flare?
And they're usually red.
Yeah, because a blue flare, particularly if you're out at sea, it's probably not going to be too helpful.
No, that's the thing.
I need to start canvassing shops around, particularly as we come into Guy Fawkes, and be like, hey, I'm having a gender reveal. It's a boy.
Yeah.
Can you get me, what's the biggest blue flare you got? And then I'll bring it in next weekend. Again, if I can get into a corporate box, I will let off the world's first corporate flare.
And probably the world's last.
World's only ever corporate flare. And I'll never be allowed back at Mount Smart again. But yeah, sorry, I did let you down there, and I will be better.
Shame on you.
Another caller here. Yours, please.
Hey, fellas. Happy Monday.
Hi.
My birthday over the weekend and received a lovely
Happy birthday.
ACC almanac. Great gift for a lifelong Black Hat supporter and a day one ACC supporter. Back in the day when you had to sync in your bloody radio to the TV. Had a wee giggle at the G Lane penis signature. And the fact that my kid's favourite page was when you got your ass hanged.
I think he got censored there. I think the censors got to him.
What was it?
I don't know.
The favourite page was when your ass. It's probably that picture right at the end where there's a picture at the end of Matt Heath putting a popping candy frozen banana up my bum.
Yeah.
Which was a client. It was a client promo gone wrong. It was for Hell Pizza. You know when you that brief you get from clients, it's like the guy just have some fun with it. Like just do a photo for social media and just have some fun with it. You know, whatever, man, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
So I dropped my pants and he pretended to insert it into my butt, and then we put that out, and they're like,
not that.
Yeah,
not that. This is the thing. It's one of the most bizarre. Like everyone wants to advertise with the ACC until they get it. Everyone wants the ACC until they get it, and then it's just disaster. While we're talking about client sponsorships, there was a pizza place that was sponsoring us one time, and they sent us some pizzas, and they wanted some pizzas delivered to Hosking.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So they dropped them off in the morning, and they were delivered to me. So I was like, yep, sweet. Here's all these pizzas. I didn't know about the Hosking part of it, and the delivery guy didn't either. He didn't tell me anything. So we just tuck in and eat all these pizzas. Then I get a phone call. Did Hosking get his pizzas? I was like, I don't know. Did you send them to them? Like, no, they all got sent to you. They were supposed to go to Hosking. I was like, well, you didn't tell me. Oh, no, Hosking's not going to... I was like, as if Mike Hosking at fucking 8 in the morning is going to eat a pizza. As if you could even get it into his studio.
Can you imagine him in his like Maserati with a pizza on the front seat?
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Absolutely not.
Didn't they break into tears? Didn't they start crying?
And the worst part was, I was still quite new into the business, and I went to text one of my mates here at work, and because he was like, "Oh, do we still need to do this thing today? It's Friday afternoon." And I said, "Mate, I'm at the pub. We'll deal with it on Monday." But I actually sent that to the sales rep who looked after the pizza company, who was beside himself that Hosking didn't get his pizza, and I texted back and said, "Mate, I'm at the pub. We'll sort this out on Monday." And so, yeah, I got a tearful call on Monday morning. Anyway.
That's good. Hey, we forgot one. Yes. The Silver Ferns, the Netty. They beat Australia.
They did.
And the Netty. And our old mate Wild won his triathlon in the World Series.
Hayden Wild.
He won as well.
Right.
And our Paddle Ferns, women's water polo canoe team.
Shit.
They won. It's one of the great weekends.
One more call here. Yours, please.
Oh, hello. It's Lee from Napier here. I'd just like to say on behalf of New Zealand, thanks to G Lane for telling us all to put our money behind India for the win. If half the country hadn't have done that, New Zealand definitely wouldn't have got that win on that test match. So what a time to be alive. How good was that? Give them a taste of Kiwi. Thanks, G Lane. And yeah, fuck some dudes.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, thank you. He's saying that you reverse cursed.
Oh, okay.
The Black Caps.
Like, I mean, my pleasure. I copped a lot of people sliding into my DMs because I sat here this time last week actually and said India are paying $2.30 for the win.
Money for jam.
Yeah, double your money. Black Caps are paying $15. I think I was like, stay away from that.
Withdraw any term deposits you've got.
Absolutely.
You can siphon off some of the mortgage.
Yeah, and I've absolutely shat the bed on that one.
But reverse curse.
Reverse curse.
Black Caps.
All I can say is there anyone that's unhappy today about that result?
No. Wow. That guy that put $300 on it.
Oh, yeah.
He'd probably be a bit upset about it.
Yeah.
But,
sorry about that.
No, yeah, that's powerful stuff. All right, we didn't even talk about as you said before, there's so much we didn't talk about. We'll talk about the NPC tomorrow. We may even see, and I don't know if he's aware of what seems to be a bit of a curse on this podcast, but we may even see if we can get Brad Shields back on. Every person that's come onto this podcast has gone on to lose that week.
Yes.
So he may not want to, but I can't imagine he's listening to this podcast very closely. So I reckon he might.
You reckon he'll fall for it?
Might be dumb enough to come on the podcast again. So I'll put the feelers out there and we'll see how we go. Otherwise, we'll knock this thing on the head and we'll be back tomorrow for a Tuesday episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.